My name is Nawin Ramcharan. I'm 28 years old and I'm from Rotterdam. So I have a background in public administration and sociology. And during my studies, I have started a student party because I noticed that the universities are not very neutral. There's not a lot of open, like space for open debate culture and for critical thinking. That was for me the reason to start a student party and to actually try to get that more back in the universities. And yes, we with success we went the biggest student party for many years. That is how I came in contact with the national politics. And also, I am active in a Hindu organization called Soham. And with Soham, I try to advocate for the Hindu rights, and that is like the most important part, who I am, what my background is, and how I actually went into politics, how I came into touch with politics. GA21 or JA21 is it's a party that was very open to collaborate with me. And finally, yes, I got the opportunity to be on their list. So that is, I think, most important to know from my background and how I went to the political party.
So we are quite curious to know about your cultural background. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, so my cultural background is as following. So my ancestors are from India and my parents are from Suriname, and myself, I'm born in the Netherlands. So my cultural background is actually a mix of all these three. So I would say that everything that is related to the culture, like food, music, movies, etc. It's like from all these three countries, I get a good mix, and I feel really related to these. Also, I'm Hindu myself, so that will also feel like that part as well. I go to, for example, the mandir every Sunday in The Hague, and yes, that is how I am practicing my religion as well. And yes, I would say that is a good mixture of how I would describe my cultural background.
So at this moment, you are quite busy, and the election is all the election discussions are in full swing at this moment. Um, and of course, migration, healthcare, and other topics are being discussed in the national media. The purpose of this call is to talk about the concerns of Hindu community. So we will focus upon those topics. So first question that I want to ask you is uh, is about underrepresentation of Hindu community in the
Yeah.
politics. Now, when I talk about politics, I mean the national politics or Kementerad or local governments, all those kind of politics where you see that Hindus are underrepresented. So my question to you is that how will you make sure that Hindu community gets better representation in the politics?
Yes, that's a very good question. And I think the Hindu community, we should understand that we are not very visible into politics. In the Netherlands, we have like around 200 to 300,000 people from the, how do you say that, Hindustani community, and 80% of this group is Hindu. And from within this big and large group, there is actually only total, I think, three candidates right now participating in a national election. And that's way too less. We should understand that we are invisible in politics and also in the media, and that causes that we are losing, the political game. We are losing the narrative. I mean, I was just yesterday, I was opening my social media and I saw Al Jazeera posting a very negative video about Hindus and how they celebrate Diwali. And it was in a specific village that they only throw cow poop to each other, and it was in a very negative light. And this is going viral, and it is now reaching also the biggest media channel in the Netherlands. And Hindus are actually being portrayed as like very in a negative way, a very dirty way, etc. And that is like uh, that is because we do not take initiative. A lot of people are very passive when it comes down to politics. Um, I try to change that from my position. I've already tried to change that from my position when I was active in Soham. But from that position, I'm not always able to tackle everything. For example, we have a national coordinator against discrimination and racism. When I approach him, yes, he said that my role is also very limited. From the government's position, or at least in the parliament, you have a more serious role. You have more tools to put pressure on these kind of people and institutions. So I think the conclusion is that we need to be more aware of that we are losing the political game, and that it is now or never. We need to use this golden chance to at least have someone from our Hindu community in the parliament, and if we do, we can still uh, like fight for our narrative. If we don't do that, we will lose it, and our children will pay the highest price for it. They will be bullied for how the world feels and looks at us. And that is, I think, the highest price that we will pay. And if that is not the motivation to vote for a Hindu candidate, I don't know. So I hope people will see the urgency to now support each other from within our community.
So you talked about the underrepresentation of Hindus, and you clearly say that this is a problem. My question to you is that how are you going to deal with that? Let's say that in the future, something like temple vandalism takes place, or people are
Yes.
attacked because of their religious identity. How will you take it up forward? Suppose if you are in the government, or maybe you are a member of parliament, maybe you are not, huh? So
Yeah.
in that case, how will you take it forward? What will you do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, in the Netherlands, there should not be any place for this kind of vandalism or hate against religion in this form. We should keep everyone safe in this country. And from that perspective, also our community, we deserve protection. And if there is something happening like a temple vandalization, then yes, from my perspective of the government, I can at least ask questions to the minister about this. If there's, for example, a trend going on, then I can try to check if there is something that we can do from the government to tackle this trend. But to tackle that, we first need research, and that research, the person that can do that is the NCDR, the National Coordinator Against Discrimination and Racism. So again, from my position as a parliament member, I can have more tools to put pressure on him. For example, to ask for some form of research on this, right? So that is one, like we don't have anyone right now. If we have at least someone, that person represents more people, and therefore the NCDR or other institutions, maybe the Ministry um, of Social Affairs, they will have to look more closely to this, and then I hope that this kind of issues will be researched, and after the research, we can check what steps can be followed out of this.
So I understand that you will make use of the existing institutions and make sure that the voice of Hindus reaches those institutions and authorities. Is that right to
Yes,
assume?
exactly. And also in the media, we have to speak out. Right now, we have no one that really comes into the mainstream media, maybe very limited amount of people, and no politicians. So when I am a politician, or at least a member of the national parliament, I can also bring this to the agenda of the main media, right? The mainstream media.
Correct. So, since you talked about media, in media nowadays, you read a lot of articles that compare Hinduism with fascism. They constantly report that Hindu communities in Europe are being radicalized. So all these kind of news keeps coming in the media. Now in Holland, we have freedom of expression, so people can write whatever they want. But how do we counter those narratives in media? You have seen several articles in the newspapers. You also referred to just now to this news on Al Jazeera. So what will you do really to counter those kind of narratives? Because it is all over there. It
Yeah.
happens weekly.
So, first of all, we need to understand this is a whole system that we are fighting against, right? So we need to actually understand that more and more people needs to join the media and also join politics. It's not something I can fight alone, right? We need more people distributed in these important places to spread like our way of thinking as well. And with our way of thinking, I mean that there is a counter narrative to the hate that is brought forward to us. So in that light, um, we need more and more people to be active in this whole system. That is the only way to tackle actually negative narratives about us. Was that the question, or maybe you can help me a little bit
Yes,
if that
yes, I think it's pretty much you are on the point, and your answer is clear. So let's talk about migration. Now, migration is a very emotional topic, and a lot of debate is going on about migration. What I hear from the Hindu community is when people are talking about migration, the always the image is very negative, the negative effects of migration on Dutch society. But we also see that migrants, especially the Hindu migrants, they come to Holland as knowledge workers, or they
yeah.
come through legal means. But somehow their contribution, how they contribute to the society, and how they live here without being dependent upon social funds, those things are not being highlighted. So the question is how your party and you will create this distinction between different kind of migrations to Holland.
Yeah, so my party, Ja21, Ja21, actually makes a very clear distinction between the asylum seekers and between the labor migrants and the knowledge migrants. So what we say about the asylum seekers is that we should stop the asylum migration. But for the labor migration and for the knowledge migration, we say that it's okay, but only if it contributes to the Netherlands. And I think that most Indians are from these last two, right? So the knowledge migrants and from the labor migrants. So that is like our general stance. So your question, if I'm correct, was about what the government can do about the way that the Indian community, the Hindu community, is being perceived here in the Netherlands, right? Is that correct?
Yes, so making a differentiation between different kind of migrations.
Yes.
Because if you do not make that distinction, then everybody thinks that migration is just bad for this country, regardless of what you are doing here.
Yes, exactly. Yes. No, but again, our party makes that distinction very clear. And our perspective is that the Netherlands should be developed in a positive way. And if knowledge migrants or labor migrants are contributing to that, that's fine. It will contribute to the Netherlands, and that is we are open for that. But what we see is that most asylum seekers they are not contributing. They only cost the Netherlands a lot of money, and also we see that there is a lot of cultural differences. And if you see the whole total picture, then for us that's the reason to say we want a complete stop to the asylum seekers to get at least more control on migration.
So, talking about migration, something which is linked to that is a discussion about innovation in the Netherlands. And in fact, all the arrivals as kennismigranten or the knowledge workers who come to Holland, they contribute to innovation in this country. However, you see that in the national debates, especially in these elections, very little is being talked about innovation, or making sure that Netherlands gets a top class tech industry here. So probably, uh, um, I think we should really see the value of knowledge migrants here. And I think at this moment it is not being highlighted sufficiently. So do you see something like that in the debates? Debates are focused towards just two or three topics.
Well, yes, I mean, if you look at debates, then you see that the debates are mostly about what the average Dutch person finds important. So there was a survey being done on which topics people find important, and then you see a whole list of topics, and you see on top, you see migration, you see safety, you see housing, you see the economic policies, etc. So there is like a whole list, and also like a grading of what people find important in the debates. And if I'm correct, you said innovation, right? That was the topic you mentioned.
Yeah, and connection of innovation with knowledge workers who come to this country.
Yeah. So innovation that is linked with the exactly with the knowledge people that come from the country. Yes, that's not that that is not like a topic that most Dutch people find very important.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, so from migration to we move to another theme, and that is related to your work in Soham, and that is
Yeah.
discrimination against Hindus, and also the situation of Hindu communities in countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan. Could you please tell us more about that? What did you do in that area?
Yes. So within Soham, I have tried to actually raise the voice for the Hindus that is now being absent, and therefore there were many projects that I took with my team to actually tackle this. So what we did, for example, we so in the Netherlands we have many Hindus, but worldwide we have Hindus as well. And what we see is that the Dutch media not is not really portraying all the information um, correctly about Hindus. And also, when there are things happening to Hindus worldwide, for example, in Bangladesh, what you mentioned, it is not even coming in the news. And you see other wars, other problems, they are very prominently in the news. And therefore, it will cause like an unfair distribution of what is important and where the resources go, right? So right now, one of the examples is the Hindus in Bangladesh. I have tried to raise awareness for the Hindus over there. That was from Soham. So what awareness do we want to create? The awareness that the Dutch tax that all the citizens pay for is going to Bangladesh. We pay, if I'm correct in the numbers, around 20 million, 21 million euros that goes from the Netherlands to Bangladesh, and we don't know like how this money is being used, in which hands it falls. And if I follow the news in Bangladesh, I see that there could be quite a big chance that this is being used against minorities over there. Not even only Hindus, also you see, for example, Christians that are being targeted there. So my question actually was like, hey, what are we doing as the Netherlands? Is everyone aware of the situation over there? Right, so that is how I create awareness with Soham in the government about this topic. So I worked together with the party to ask questions on this topic, and the same for the Kashmir war. When there was a weapon export, I was just wondering, like, why are we exporting the weapons to, um, to influence the war over there? And I could not understand that. So again, I contacted my party if they were open for some set of questions, and they were. And apparently, we had a PVV minister who was secretly, so without that behind the back of the parliament, secretly sponsoring weapons to, for example, Pakistan. Yes, that was something that was in Follow the Money news channel, and that is, uh, I was curious, like, why? What is the reason behind it, right? So we just asked questions about this, and unfortunately, the government failed exactly at that time, and the PVV minister changed, and the questions were then in a very weird way answered, and they denied it a little bit. So yes, from my that is what I did within Soham, and also with Hindu discrimination. I try to tackle this to put pressure on the NCDR, the National Coordinator Against Racism and Discrimination. So again, from all these projects I worked on, I actually saw that it's very hard to create some real impact if you are not a parliament member. And I want to continue this work, and therefore it was my ambition to go for the parliament so that I can put more pressure whenever it's needed for our community.
Certainly. I when you talked about those parliament questions, I remember that I was reading those answers, and those answers were really avoiding the real questions. In fact, so answers were like this: that we have good controls in place. So whenever we export something to Pakistan, we know that those things are not going to be misused. Also, there was a question about the support to terrorist organization by Pakistani state, and there also the answer was that yes, it's a fake news and we don't trust it. Huh? So
Exactly.
this I have seen happening quite
And
often. Also in case of Bangladesh, whenever people
yes,
said that Hindus are being persecuted, they said that it was fake news. So my question to you in this case is that if, let's say, so much is being pushed in social media about Hindu persecution in Bangladesh, why can't we send a fact-finding mission to Bangladesh and figure out what's happening there?
you mean that from the Dutch government,
Yes,
we
yes, or from the EU or from the Dutch government to find out that what's really happening. Talk to people, get their testimonies and all that. Because
yes.
at this moment, it's
Well,
very easy to just brush things away by saying it's a
well,
fake news.
yes, the reason is because it's not someone's priority. Who will start this? Who will advocate for this? We don't have any people to start this, right? So that's the reason why it's not happening. And again, if I did not do some research, then probably no one in the whole government was looking like how our government tax is being spended. For example, in Bangladesh, 21 million is going from the Netherlands to that country, and we do not know like in which hands it falls and how that money is being used. We don't know, and this is like why we need more people from within our community in the parliament, because we know the best what plays within our community, right? And therefore it's important that we have our own people sitting there instead of other people, um, doing like waiting them for do something, right? And we have now one golden chance. Yeah, I'm saying these things again, but we really need to change this, otherwise this will continue.
That's right. And I agree with you on that, that we at least need one parliament member from the Hindu community. And that will really raise our voice and amplify it. So now we have last few minutes left, Naveen ji.
Yeah.
And see, at this moment, people uh, from the Hindu community, they are trying to choose a party or the candidate to vote for, and they are kind of like swinging between Fe Fe Fe, Ya 21, and Pe Fe Fe.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, why should they vote for your party, and why should they vote for you and not for other parties?
Yeah, so actually I would actually reverse the question. Why would people actually not vote for someone from our community? Why do people want to give their vote within our community to another person that probably does not even know the main priorities within our community? Right? From the whole PVV, there's not even a single person who, yeah, like really understands what is happening within the Indian community or within the Hindu community, right? So I think it is always best to vote for someone within your community if you find important that the problems within your community is being heard, right? So as for myself, if I can speak for myself, I come a lot to events related to Indian events or in the Indian community or the Hindu community. And I know, like, from all these politicians, best what plays within our community because I'm part of it. I'm very active, I'm very engaged. And because I am so engaged, I understand, like, what the problem really is and how I can use it, right? So that is like the best advice I think I can give, besides like a lot of other things that the PVV, right? If I was talking about the weapon export, yeah, that was because of the PVV. They just they supported that weapon export. So yes, I mean there are many reasons to not vote for the PVV actually, and GA21 is a good alternative for the PVV, I would say, and also for the VVD, because the VVD is a party that actually is, for most people, not very reliable. In my opinion, the VVD has broken down actually the Netherlands. It was responsible in the last cabinets for a lot of problems that they created. Migration, for example, the VVD has a record of a lot of migrants, especially asylum migrants, coming into the Netherlands. They were responsible for a record of um, uh, police stations that are being closed. They are responsible for the very high inflation that we face right now. So I don't really see why people want to support this party who is responsible for breaking down, yeah, the whole Netherlands. I cannot understand that, and I think again that that Ja21, Ja21 is the best alternative. We have a lot of new people, we have a lot of experienced people. Our party is based on expertise. We have experts that are creating the party program and also are on the list. And we are very open to work with everyone. Other parties, like the VVD, for example, they are saying on beforehand, oh, we are not working with the PVV and we are not working with the CDA and other parties. They are excluding beforehand. And I think that is not the right way to go into uh, like the election, especially if you vote for them. Then most probably there are many videos made on this. Your vote will be wasted and goes into opposition. So I think with all the circumstances that Ja21 is the best alternative right now, um, like on the right wing, but also in general for Hindus. And I want to like close with this one, that I think that uh, conservatism and right wing politics are working way better for Hindus than liberalism or progressivism. And the reason for this is that what you see is that other groups, other minority groups, they play the victim card way stronger and get more attention with liberalism or progressivism. And Indian people and Hindus, we are usually working very hard and we're not very appreciated always. And that work ethics, that meritocracy is way more central in conservatism, and I think, therefore, we should look at a party who really values this. And GA21 or Ya21 is a party that really values this. And I think that if we are becoming way bigger, then most Indians and Hindus will flourish in when we are in government. That is really what I think, and it's one of the reasons why I am joining this party as well. And yeah, they are open already for, as I said, the input that I gave from within our community. And I think this is almost a no-brainer if you ask me. Yeah, Ya21, I think it's the best party for the Indian community and the Hindu community.
Okay, with that note, we end this podcast. Thank you very much, Naveen ji. This was Naveen ji, candidate for Dutch Parliament election from the party JA21, and he is number 29 on the list. Thank you,
Yep.
Naveen ji.
Thank you as well, Anurag ji.